Alrighty, good morning and welcome everyone to the community kickoff for Marine Sergeant Kyle Garcia. Before our guest of honor and his family arrives, I would like to show you guys a short video about Sergeant Garcia, and then immediately after that, we will be going outside to greet Kyle and his family as they arrive by escort. So if you guys could turn to these TVs, we're going to show that short video.
I'm Sergeant Kyle Garcia. I was serving in Afghanistan. I stepped on an improvised explosive device and lost my left leg and a lot of injury to my right leg. It's a limb salvage. A lot of my family had already enlisted in the military. My mom wanted me to join the Air Force and my grandfather wanted me to join the Air Force, so I did the polar opposite I could think of and joined the Marine Corps Infantry. We were patrolling, and I remember literally I was looking down, speaking to the COC, telling them we're going slow because this area was pretty sketchy. I stepped, and then instantaneously, like, my ears just started ringing, and I was looking up at the sky. And so when I hit the ground, I felt just this immense pain, and I knew. Once the dust settled, my team leader, he basically finger swept the dirt all the way up to me as I called the COC for my own medevac.
It was the day after my birthday when I got the phone call. I was washing dishes and I got a phone call from, I think it was Virginia. Then I was told that Kyle was hurt, and I fell to the ground. I just had a hard time processing what was going on. I was just thinking in my head that they were just making it light of what it was and expecting the worst.
What helped me out was seeing all the other Marines in Wounded Warrior Battalion, the way they carried themselves almost like nothing had happened to them, almost as if they were the luckiest human beings in the world. Kind of helped you to kind of get over that and start to really make strides in physical therapy, and that's what helped me.
Just watching him adjust was a little hard. Him transitioning to this new lifestyle was a little bit rough, and he was just angry a lot.
A lot of the challenges were wheelchair related, just transferring to furniture, getting into the tub, halfway in the tub, halfway outside of the tub, and just water dripping everywhere. Also, there's just stairwells and things that make it really hard for me to get it around anywhere in a wheelchair. So, a lot of my veteran friends, they'd actually received homes from Homes for Our Troops and the impact it made on their lives. I talked to my friend Julian, and he basically convinced me to apply for it. Now, Homes for Our Troops really gives veterans, the dignity of things that normal people take for granted. You just don't consider the things that when your life changes and you're disabled that, become obstacles that can easily be mitigated with the support like from Homes for Our Troops.
Homes for Our Troops has provided support for us, for our family, just being around the people and knowing that they want to make life easier or better for us.
So having a mortgage-free home would be huge for our family. I mean, that's the number one expense for almost all families, and not having that, it'd just be able to focus all my energy on just improving the quality of life for my family. And I feel like it would just enable me to reach so much more of my potential. Yeah, my son, Lewis, he's 2 years old now. I found out that I was going to have a son. I was getting retired from the military, no idea what I was actually going to do, and it just... surprise! So now I'm finishing my undergraduate degree. It's a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting in my last semester. Then I am applying to law schools.
I'm excited for Kyle, honestly. It's going to be definitely ideal for him to get to every room. Just getting into the bathroom if he's in a wheelchair would be great.
Now, Homes for Troops is truly an amazing organization, and they change veterans' lives, and they're one of the great charities that actually spend their money on the causes that they support, you know, and they're very good at doing what they say they do.
All right, at this time, please grab a waving flag if you have not already, and we're gonna head outside to go welcome the Garcia family. right, guys, and if you're sitting in the back rows, if we can fill in the front, we're all like here together as a community, so feel free to sit next to someone you don't know. All right. Awesome. All right, now that everyone is seated, please stand for the opening ceremony, including the presentation of colors by the VFW Post 10789 Honor Guard and the singing of the national anthem by Ann Richnowski.
Okay. Forward. Detail. Halt. Fire. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Fire. Forward. Detail. Halt. Dismiss.
All right. Thank you, and please be seated. Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to Marine Sergeant Kyle Garcia's Community Kickoff. Homes for Our Troops would like to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out and supporting this amazing veteran today. My name is Jocelyn Phipps, and I am a Community Engagement Coordinator at Homes for Our Troops. It is my privilege to be here with you today as we celebrate the groundbreaking and building of a new, specially adapted home for Kyle and his family. But first and foremost, if you have ever served in our armed forces, can you please stand now or raise your hand to be recognized? Thank you to all of our active and retired soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines. We thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your courage to defend our liberties and way of life. Thank you also to all of our military families, because when they serve, you also must make sacrifices. Thank you to our Blue Star families joining us today who have a family member currently serving in our armed forces, and our deepest gratitude to any Gold Star families in attendance today whose family member made the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield. Our nation is forever grateful and will always remember them. All right, so let's get into the ceremony then. What did you guys think of the escort this morning? Yeah? All right, well, thank you to our amazing escort, which included the Northern California Patriot Guard Riders, the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office, the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District, and the American Legion Rider Chapter 202 and Rolling Nines. I would especially like to take a moment to thank the Custer County Sheriff's Department and the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District for supporting Homes for Our Troops and keeping this country safe. Thank you also to the VFW Post 10789 Honor Guard and Ann Richnowski for an outstanding job leading our opening ceremony. And thank you to the builder of this home, Stephen Ford and Larry Ford, and all of the staff and subcontractors at Golden Oaks Construction for taking on this build project with us. Thank you to all of our corporate partners, and a special warm welcome to the ones celebrating with us here today, which include our Platinum National Corporate Partner, ABC Supply, and National Corporate Partner, Budget Blinds. And finally, a big thank you to the Delta Community Presbyterian Church for hosting us today, as well as the United States Representative Josh Harder's office, United States Senator Alex Padilla's office, California Secretary Shirley Weber's office, Contra Costa County District Attorney Diana Becton, California Deputy Controller Hasib Emron, Mr. Bill Weber of the VFW, Contra Costa County, the City of Byron, Discovery Bay, and all other surrounding areas. Thank you also to all of our donors, supporters, and volunteers. We thank everyone for their support with Marine Sergeant Kyle Garcia and Homes for Our Troops, because without you guys, none of this would have been possible. Now, by quick show of hands, how many of you are attending your very first Homes for Our Troop event? Amazing, a large portion of the crowd. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about our organization so that you guys know who we are and what we are doing. So Homes for Our Troops is a national publicly funded 501c3 nonprofit that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes to severely injured post 9/11 veterans to enable them to rebuild their lives. Because Homes for Troops is not federally funded or state funded, most of our support comes from patriotic and generous people like you all here today. We are a highly rated 4-star military charity by Charity Navigator and have an A rating with Charity Watch. Since our inception in 2004, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent goes directly towards building these homes and other programs that support our veterans. We have completed 369 homes across 45 states, including 46 in California. In addition, we currently have 70 active projects in various stages across the country, and with so many veterans who are waiting to rebuild their lives, I'm encouraging you all to get involved and join our mission. There are many different ways that you can get involved, but today I'm going to talk mainly about one, which is our monthly giving program, Operation Lasting Support. You can join Operation Lasting Support for just $15 a month, and you may think that $15 is too small to really make a difference, but by joining collectively, you and others across the nation can help us build a full additional house or even two this year. And what that means is that a veteran scheduled for next year gets pushed into this year, and we can accept a new veteran into our program. And that can be a huge deal for those families who need these specially adapted homes. You can also help Homes for Our Troops mission by telling your friends, family, coworkers, or just a friendly stranger about where you were today and about Homes for Our Troops mission. We work really hard to make sure that nearly 90 cents of every dollar is going towards our veterans, so we need your help to spread the word about who Homes for Troops is and what we do. So now that I've told you a little bit about Homes for Our Troops, it's time to move into the presentations of today. So Kyle, there were a few people who wanted to be here, but unfortunately were not able to attend your community kickoff today, and they still wanted to be able to congratulate you on your groundbreaking of your new home. So I would now like to introduce the Manager of Community Engagement at Homes for Our Troops, Q Bailey, who will present one of their messages today.
Good morning, everyone. Certificate of Congressional Recognition presented to Marine Sergeant Kyle Garcia. On behalf of the United States House of Representatives, I would like to recognize Marine Sergeant Kyle Garcia for his service with the United States Marine Corps and congratulate him on the day of the community kickoff for his new specially adapted custom home by Homes for Our Troops. Thank you for being a pillar in our community. Congratulations. Signed, United States Congressman Josh Harder, October 7, 2023.
And now it's time to introduce our speakers. Up first, on behalf of the California Controller's Office, please welcome Deputy Controller Hasib Emron.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, family and friends. So happy to be here. When I got word of Sergeant Garcia coming into town, I circled this on my calendar because I wanted to show up in person, and I thought it was important to be here this morning, joining you all. Took the drive in from San Francisco this morning. So happy to be here. Sergeant Garcia, I want to welcome you to the community. I want to welcome your beautiful family to Byron. Just a personal story. My name is Hasib Emron. I'm the California Deputy State Controller. I'm representing our California State Controller, Malia Cohen. And I was on the phone with her this morning, and she wanted to wish you the best and welcome you to our community. I'm actually from Antioch, California. I'm a lawyer, but before then I was a school teacher at Antioch High School. So this is my community too. So it's a welcoming home for everyone. So I'm so happy to be here. And I think it's important that we show up for our troops, our veterans, the military, defending our democracy, sacrificing for our freedom, and always continue to be a beacon of light because we know that when we run away from danger, our veterans are running towards it. They're on the front lines and they're making those sacrifices, and we've seen that time and time again. So it's just such an honor to be here, Sergeant Garcia. I want to welcome you to the community. I also want to recognize Bill as well from Home for Our Troops for making such an amazing donation. It's a home that I saw in the video. You don't have to worry about the mortgage, right? And that's such a big deal here in California. With all the other issues we got, right? But the high cost of living and everything. So it's just that 370 homes in the past 15 to 20 years, and that's incredible. And it's not just any home. It's a home that's built specifically for you. It's a home that is filled with love and joy, and something that you can continue to live in. You don't ever have to worry about a landlord coming and kicking you out of your home, right? So I think that's so important. So once again, I'm just so happy to be here, Sergeant Garcia. I did bring the certificate of honor all the way from Sacramento, and I wanted to read this off to you. In honor and recognition of your dedication, service, sacrifice, and commitment to our nation, we extend our deepest gratitude and heartfelt appreciation for your contributions. Your public service continue to inspire California and beyond. Thank you for your leadership in the community. Dated this 7th day of October by our California State Controller. Thank you, everyone.
And we cannot do the work at Homes for Our Troops without the help and support of our corporate partners. Up next, speaking on behalf of our Platinum National Corporate Partner, please welcome Don
Good morning, everybody. My name is Don Oberg. I am the district manager for ABC Supply in the San Francisco Bay. And I have my manager, Robert Zaus, and his team from ABC Antioch here. They provided the truck, which is called the Knuckle Boom. That's how we load material up on the roof. And the American flag. Yes. But we're honored to represent ABC Supply. We're a proud corporate sponsor of Homes for Our Troops. One of our main core values of our company is American pride. And we saw the video. Here it goes. Every year, my manager and I go back to the national meeting, and we see, I think now it's 368 videos of Homes for Troops homes and their story, and it is amazing. And I talked to all my managers about, wow, it'd be so cool if we can have one of these builds in our area so we can participate. So thank goodness you guys are here. You're here in Byron, California. We have 14 locations in San Francisco Bay Area, and we're going to be here for you guys and participate. But the most important thing, we just wanted to thank Sergeant Garcia and his family for the service that you've done for our country, this amazing country we live in. So thank you very much.
Up next, please welcome another national corporate partner speaking on behalf of Budget Blinds. Please welcome Lisa Borgia.
So nice to be here. And thank you so much for your service and sacrifice. We're so appreciative of you and your family, and we're so excited to welcome you to our community. We've been in Budget Blinds for 28 years now, and we are so excited to finally have the opportunity to serve in this way to our community. My husband and I and our daughters, we've lived in this area for over 20 years, and we closely follow Home for Our Troops through our corporate office, HFC and Budget Blinds. And we're often, we just wish so bad we can be a part of that and all the excitement that goes along with welcoming a veteran to your community. So we're so excited to provide your window treatments when your home is done. And my personal hope for your family is that you guys just have such peace there. And home is so important. And I think, I mean that with all my heart. I mean, we just genuinely enjoy our family so much, and you'll go through wonderful times in your home, you'll go through difficult times in your home, but I just hope your holidays are blessed, that you have guys just so much joy.
And up next, we have a very special speaker. Please welcome Kyle's amazing wife, Crystal Garcia.
I'm a nervous wreck. I've had the I was fortunate enough to know Kyle since middle school. We've been together a really long time. Sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed. It's really comforting to see all the support that we're getting in this build here in Byron. Gosh. So sorry. I have been with him through many changes in life. We're really young, but we've gone through a lot since, being teenagers, his time in the military, and just adjusting and adapting to life after the military. So having the opportunity to have a home that is especially adapted for him and offering independence for him just provides so much relief. It really brings a lot of comfort to know that despite whether I can be home or not, and knowing that he can be able to have independence and be able to do whatever he needs to do at home and have an oasis away from everything outside the home. This world is not meant for people who have trouble moving around, and to have a home that offers that to him is amazing. I really want to thank everybody at Homes for Our Troops, the local community here, everybody that's here today to offer support. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
I would now like to show a short video and give you a glimpse into what Homes for Our Troops impact looks like.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
I would now like to introduce you to Alex Haregi, who received his HVAT home in March 14th, 2015 in Woodland, California, and has since gone on to do some pretty exciting things. Please welcome Homes for Our Troops home recipient, Army Staff Sergeant Alex Haregi.
Thank you. First off, I want to say, Kyle, congratulations, and welcome to the club, I guess. I know that this house is going to be life-changing for you. And then, Bill, good to see you again. Bill and I have been friends since I was going through the process, so it's good. Anytime I get to see him, it's great. So there's 3 things I want to do here. One, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit so you get to know me a little bit more. The second thing would be to give you some experiences that I've been through while I was in the military. So my goal is to hope that you understand why we owe our service members everything, some of the life experiences that they go through. And so, and then lastly, what being a Homes for Our Troops recipient, the life changes that it's done for me, being in a specially adapted house. So again, my name's Alex Haregi. I was born in Guadalajara, Mexico on April 12, 1985. When I was 4 years old, my dad immigrated us out here to Colusa County, where he worked as in the fields, so as an ag worker. When I was 9 years old, my dad was killed in a car accident. And so my mom was left with the decision of moving back to Mexico with us. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and we're staying in America to achieve my dad's dream, which was to give us more opportunity, right? So thankfully she chose to stay. And so I grew up in Williams, California. I was working in the fields when I was 12 years old, and all the way up until I joined the military. That's all I ever did was work in the fields. And I knew that whenever I graduated, I didn't want to go back to working in the fields or go back to working for Morningstar. So I decided that the military was my best route. So I joined the military, and this was in 2003. I get to my unit in March of '04, and as soon as I get there, they're going through inspections because they're getting ready to leave for Iraq. And so my squad leader tells me, don't even unpack your bags. We're going to do plenty of inspections right before we leave. So June of 2004, go on my first deployment to Iraq, and that was a year-long deployment in the Baghdad area. And then 2000, come home, 2006, same thing, go back to Iraq again. And this time it was in the Anbar province, South Fallujah area, where I met my wife. My wife was also in the Army. And so my wife's friend was married to one of my friends. And on deployment, you have to have, even if you're married, you have to have a battle buddy. So a female can't be alone. She has to have a female with her, and then same thing with the male. So I was always my friend's buddy, and she was always her friend's companion there. So that's how me and my wife ended up meeting. come home again. My third tour to Afghanistan was in Kandahar province, an area known as the Arghandab River Valley. This was in 2009, September 2009 to September 2010. And it was an area that was just laced with IEDs. We found over 200 IEDs in that area, and as a company, which is about 100, full strength company is 198 soldiers. You're never really full strength, but we hit 64 IEDs as a company. I had 14 amputees in my company that year, and it was just a really hard deployment. And so in that deployment comes one of my stories I wanted to share about some of the experiences that we go through. When we first moved into the Arghandab River Valley, we were the first Americans to ever be there. And so that means we moved in, we were doing a patrol, we picked out a field that we liked that was location-wise, it was a good area to push out patrols from there and kind of keep an eye on the area. And so it was a radish field, so we built that place from the ground up. With that being said, it means we had no showers. So for 3 months, we went without being able to take a shower. Our showers consisted of water bottles and baby wipes. And water bottles, we could only get air support for supplies, so those were limited. So you couldn't really use a whole bunch of water bottles to take a shower with, right? So we were pretty stinky. Stinky enough that when I came home on my mid-tour leave was in December, 3 weeks of taking showers and being all clean, the minute I walked into my tent, it just knocks you back from the smell. And at this point we have a well already, so I tell all my guys, all you guys get up and go take a shower right now. So and then you quickly adapt to that again, and you're right back to being one of the stinky ones again. So that's one of them, not having the comforts of being able to do the everyday things that people take for granted. Even when we did have a shower, it was a well, so it was a cold shower. And then sleeping on a cot for a year, eating MREs for a year, all those experiences. The second experience I want to point out on is the age of our service members. The average enlistment is 1 enlistment, and that's between a 4-year enlistment. That's 18 to 22 years old, right? So I became a sergeant when I was 20 years old. I was in for 2 years when I got promoted to sergeant. I was in for 4 years when I became staff sergeant. So as a staff sergeant, some of my duties are to patrol, some of my responsibilities are to plan some of these patrols that we go on. And so as a 22-year-old, I'm in charge of 11 guys in every aspect of the patrol. And stuff happens. I was in the infantry, and so not everybody comes home. And so if you can picture the weight, if any of you guys have children, when one of you guys gets killed, that never goes away. Because even though if you can go back and say, I did everything right, or I would do it all the same again, it doesn't matter. Somebody got killed on that patrol, and when you come home, you have to face the parents, and they want to know every detail about what happened that day, right? So when I got home and everybody's going home to their families, I'm going to dinner with one of my guys' parents, and they want to know every detail about what happened that day, and you owe it to them. And so I point this out because we all struggle with the thought that we're owed anything. And I don't think that I'm owed anything, but I think that I owe everything to my guys, right? So Kyle, you deserve everything that you're getting. And the next thing I'll touch up on is the importance of the community support in our healing process. Being at Walter Reed, I was at Walter Reed for 2 years recovering from learning how to walk and all that again. And life was just so busy. I think it was on your video, Kyle, where you're talking about you just see guys, it's normal. And so when you first get there and you're seeing, I was in the hospital with Travis Mill. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he was a quadruple amputee. And when you're seeing guys that just have these way worse injuries than you, and they're just going through life like it didn't happen, or like they're just coping with it, it motivates you to keep going. And that's because of the community support, because in Walter Reed, there's hardly ever a dull moment. You always have people that come in to visit you, meaning like celebrities or politicians. You have all kinds of activities that you can participate on, hunting trips. And so as a community, what I would charge you with, if you know people, Kyle likes to go hunting, take him out on the hunt. If he likes to go fishing, I imagine this is a big fishing area. Invite him out on the fish if you have access to that. Because when I got my home, one of the things I had a Vietnam veteran come up to me and talk to me about PTSD, and I was like, PTSD, that's not real, you know, that's for weak people. And one of the things he told me was, wait till it gets quiet. And boy, was he right, because eventually you become a part of this community, and you just, Kyle, again, you know, you're just a member of the community, and so that's when things get quiet, and that's why I say just stay engaged, help them out. Kyle, find some local nonprofits that are veteran focused, because that's the only place you're ever really going to fit in. So I run a skydiving program if you want to jump out of airplanes in Davis. So, and then we also have a hunting program, a race team. The organization is called Ranger Road, and it's based out of Sacramento. So get involved with your brothers. And finally, what Homes for Our Troops did for me. So when I was approached by Homes for Our Troops, me and my wife I was a career-long soldier, right? So I was already on my indefinite contract, which means that you don't sign another reenlistment, you're already indefinite. So basically your next step is to request to get out of the military once you complete your retirement criteria. And so our roots were in North Carolina, and we had already bought a house in North Carolina. So whenever they approached me about a home, I was like, well, I already have a house. Not an issue. You know, this is a specially adapted house. So had it not been for Homes for Our Troops, I wouldn't be in California again. So that was one of my things. You know, I was able to move back home. We sold our house in North Carolina. And you don't really know how much you need in a specially adapted house until you have a specially adapted house. I love to travel, but yeah, I hate to travel, because when you travel, nothing's adaptive. You can get a hotel room that's got a bathroom that's adaptive, but they're adaptive to people with legs, you know, with handicaps. They're not adaptive with somebody that needs to transfer from a wheelchair with no legs, or be in a shower. The shower chairs in the hotels are slippery, so it's not the same, you know. There was that. I was able to move back home to California, where my family is. And then because I have a mortgage-free home, I was able to start a business. And so my business is an apiary. I'm a commercial beekeeper. We started with Thank you. My home is on a 5-acre property, and we started with 75 beehives. Right now we're running 1,300 beehives, and it's me and my brother. And it definitely keeps me busy and avoids the quiet time. So winter times is my struggle, because it's when we can't work as much. But it's just, again, until you live in a specially adaptive home, you don't really know how much you need a specially adaptive home and how nice it is. And I'm sure you'll find out. I guarantee you the bathroom's going to be your favorite part of the home. So crazy. I've never thought growing up that I would say the bathroom is what my favorite part of my home is. But Bill, I'm sure you hear that all the time. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. That's a little bit about me, and if any of you guys have some more questions for me, I'll be available afterwards. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to now turn the ceremony over to the Executive Director of Homes for Our Troops, Bill Ivey.
You know, it's always tough when you clap when I walk up here, because I don't know if you'll be clapping when I'm done. So, and you'll all let me know, I'm sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. You know, everybody's got lives. Saturday mornings can be busy. You've got things to do around the house. You've got kids' activities. So you carving out some time out of your lives to help us honor this great American family is really meaningful to me. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here this morning. I want to thank all of our volunteers that were here early to help us out. Sean, sorry about the mix-up on which event you were attending today. Mary, thank you for all you've done helping us go. And everybody else who was here, help us get things set up, get things squared away. Steve was here early, so appreciate that. Escort, that was a great escort. Give that escort a round of applause. Did you like all the fire engines, police cars, and motorcycles, Lewis? You got to, and there's nobody who can't like that. Great job, Color Guard. Thank you all so much for adding that dignity to us. And I'm sure you might have heard this, so you have a rather incredible voice, madam. Thank you for that national anthem. I want to thank the Delta Community Presbyterian Church. When we go out to do a kickoff, one, we're looking for a place where we don't have to pay to go there. And churches are really great because they not only don't charge us, they generally come already set up because they got chairs or pews. They come with a great audiovisual system, and even more important for a guy like me, it comes with somebody who knows how to run the darn thing. And volunteers right up. A lot of folks here early today are members of the church, so thanks so much for all your support. I also want to thank our builder, Golden Oaks Construction, and Steve. Thank you much. We always look when we go into an area to build a home for a custom home builder, and we're not looking for the guy who's on his first job. Because we're building a custom home, the adaptations make it a lot different than what most custom home builders are used to building to. So we want those folks with an experience. And I'm going to hold my real plug till I see the finished product. But from what I've seen so far, you're doing a bang-up job, so keep at it. Thanks to all our speakers. Great remarks. We appreciate it. Again, we try to get the community together because community is absolutely vital to our main mission, which is helping our veterans rebuild their lives. And you can't rebuild your life if you don't have a community that wraps their arms around you, you get to know. And that's why we do these events to kick off, to introduce the veteran and his or her family to the community, and to introduce the community to the veteran, because we've got to leave and go back to, most of them go back to Massachusetts. I don't live there, I just work there, pay taxes there, but other than that, I'm not bitter. But again, the community is who the Garcias will rely on, and that's the community that they're going to be key players in as they get settled, get moved in, Lewis gets into school here, and they move forward. So thank you all for coming out and helping us out on this. I do want to thank our corporate partners. Our revenue streams come from two main sources. 65% of our revenue comes from the American people, whether it's joining the monthly donation program, whether it's writing us a check once a year, whether it's going out and fundraising for us, or however you want to raise the money, as long as it's legal, we're good. But the other 35% comes from our corporate partners. So as was mentioned, we're not government funded. It's 65% from the American people fundraising and donating, and 35% from our corporate partners. And we've got two great ones here today. Budget Blinds has been with us for quite a while, and what they do is they put their blinds in the homes. So when our veteran and his or her family move in, they're not doing what those of you who were in the military used to doing, which is hanging sheets, poncho liners, whatever, till you get out to the local Walmart or IKEA or wherever and buy something that you know you're only going to have for 2 years because you're going to be moving again. They don't have to do that. The blinds are in place. Several of them are automated over the hard to get to blinds like behind the tub and tub deck, so that the veteran moves in, they're ready to go. They get the furniture in there, they get their stuff in there, and they're home. It's not the normal PCS move. About the time you get settled, it's, hey, here's your orders, you're going someplace again. So thank you so much for what you all do. And they do a high quality product. When we need to replace some window dressings in our home, my wife, because I'm not in charge of that stuff, I just write the checks. Wife's, well, actually, she writes checks. I just raise the money for her to write checks. I said, well, call Budget Blinds. That's who we use for Homes for Our Troops. She said, are they going to donate them to us? I said, hell no, they're not going to donate them to us. They're in business. You can't donate to me. They donate to the organization. But they're working great, so thanks so much. And ABC Supply. ABC Supply is our largest donor. They're nationwide, as you heard. They're in the construction business, the building business, construction materials business. It's a fantastic organization. They donate large amounts of money to us every year, and they find ways to fundraise for us. They actually have been sponsoring a car in the Indianapolis 500 every year for years. The last 2 years, they've had that car painted in HVAC colors. There's nothing on that car about ABC Supply. It's all about Homes for Our Troops. So even though it's whipping by at 220 miles an hour, it's HVAC's logo that's on there. And the driver almost won it this year. That would have been pretty good to have him in the winner's circle. But when he was interviewed, he's wearing a big HFOT logo on his shirt, and people can see that and go, wonder who those guys are, and check us out. So thank you, and please tell everybody thanks for all your support. I want to thank someone who probably doesn't get a lot of thanks, and that's the person who put this together. As I mentioned, we're headquartered out of Massachusetts, but we build where our veterans want to live, which is one of the things that makes us different than other organizations. So planning one of these events, trying to coordinate one of these events from Massachusetts is not the easiest thing to do. So Jocelyn, great job on putting this all together from Northeast Corner. And she's got two great battle buddies out here with her. One is her boss, Q, so there's no pressure today, Jocelyn, on what we're doing. And then Jeremy, who is the construction manager on this project that Steve knows very well. And when we build, we go out about 4 to 8 times to build, because although we've got an experienced builder, they're not experienced in building an adapted home. So you don't frame the windows at the same height, you frame them a little bit lower. You don't frame the countertops at the same height. You want to frame them a little bit lower because the homes we build are completely accessible to an individual in a wheelchair. There's no place the veteran can't go in his or her chair, do a 360. So the days of going down the hallway and backing out because you can't turn around are going to be gone. But our construction managers come out, they've all got construction background because it doesn't make sense to put someone checking a job who doesn't know what he's doing. So Jeremy, I don't know where you're at, he's probably working, he's always working, but great job coming out to help out on that. And I'd like to thank all of our first responders because, you know, our police, our fire, our EMTs are putting it on the line every day, and they're not really getting the recognition that veterans are getting these days. And they go out, they do their job every day, whether it's running into a burning building or defusing a domestic problem or going into a shootout with some bad guy. So a round of applause for first responders because they don't get the belief they need. And I'd like to thank all of our veterans. Thank you for raising your right hand. Anybody who came in the last 50 years, didn't get drafted. You came in because you wanted to serve, no matter what the branch of service. And I appreciate all that you've done for this country and be willing to put yourself in harm's way. A special thanks to our Vietnam veterans, because, you know, when y'all came home, this country didn't do right by you. And it is the quiet professionalism and the dignity with which you put up with that crap, and that's about as polite as I can get. And your solemn commitment to never let that happen again is why we're taking care of today's veterans the way we should have taken care of you. So, homes for our troops. I'm going to just give you a few points on us, and it won't be a test, so yeah, I hope you pay attention, but you don't have to. We're a nonprofit organization, 501c3. Anybody that donates gets a tax credit for it. But I don't want you to ever think that we're a charity, because what we're doing is not charity work. What we do is help the American people repay a debt we owe these men and women that have been so badly injured in Iraq and Afghanistan, and because of their injuries, they have lost some of their freedom and mobility defending our freedom and our mobility and our independence. So we're a legitimate nonprofit, but we're not a charity. This is not charity work. This is helping you all, and you all being the American people, repay a debt we owe these men and women that we really can't ever completely repay, but we think that a specially adapted home that is mortgage-free is a good start to help our veterans move forward with the next chapter of their lives. So our tagline is building homes, rebuilding lives. And for us, and I'll put it in military terms, our supporting effort is building a specially adapted home where the veteran wants to live. Our main effort is to help our veterans rebuild their lives. So what our main differentiator from other nonprofits that build homes for veterans is we stay in contact with our veterans for life. So it's not, here's the keys, good luck, we hope it works out for you. It's, here are the keys, welcome to the family, and we're going to be there for you. Whether it's help with education, help navigating the VA, careers, financial. We link all of our veterans with a financial planner for a 3-year period on a pro bono basis, because although there's no mortgage, you still have normal expenses. And of course, in California, you still have property taxes. So when we hand our veterans a key to their home, we know what their income is, and we know what their taxes are going to be. We know what their insurance is going to be. We know how much they need to set aside to do your normal maintenance and upkeep of a home. And we know they're ready to take that home and not get into a financial bind because they've got home responsibilities. And if their finances are such that they're not quite ready, then we don't start the home. So that we get them with that planner, we get them into a budget, we get them stable financially so that when we hand them the keys, we know they're not going to lose that home because they failed to pay the taxes. And then, of course, we follow up to make sure they pay the taxes. And so, again, I've got 6 folks on the staff. That's all they do. They stay in contact with our veterans. If we don't hear from the veteran, we'll just check in periodically. If the veteran's got an issue, he or she can give us a call, and we will get on it. We don't have all the expertise, obviously, so we keep building our network of other nonprofits, corporations, government organizations, so that we can link our veterans with an organization that hopefully is geographically pretty close to them to help them resolve whatever issue that is. And without a crystal ball, we can't figure out what all the issues are going to be. But we want to be able to stay in contact with our veterans and help them move forward. So what's the impact of what we do? We've got this brochure out on the table on the way out, and after we finish up, I'd like you to pick one up. It's called HFOD Impact. We call it By the Numbers. What we do every 2 years is we survey our veterans who've been in their home for a year, and it's a series of questions, before and after type of questions. I'm going to share 2 statistics with you, but there's some pretty amazing stats in here. One is over 95% of our veterans say they have less stress in their life after moving into their Homes for Our Troops home. Now, I don't think there's anybody in here who doesn't think having less stress in your life is probably a good idea. The other stat is employment. Veteran employment went up 123% after they moved into their home. But what really jumped out at me the first time we did this survey, spouse and caregiver employment went up 273%. So nothing to me says getting back into rebuilding your life is finding a job, pursuing a career, getting the opportunity to go back to paying income taxes, but it's getting back into a normal lifestyle again. And as you look at the stats, the impact has been larger in every category on the spouse because the veteran and the spouse are no longer spending 90% of their day just trying to get out of bed, get their legs on, get into their wheelchair, spend the extra hour and a half to 2 hours it does to do what we do relatively quickly in the morning, brush your teeth, take a shower, shave, whatever, and get ready to go. It really has an impact not just on the veteran, but on the family. So what can you do to help us out? I always tell folks there's 3 things you can do to help Homes for Our Troops. I'm infantry, so I had to check, make sure I had 3 up there. The infantry guys are laughing. Everybody else is wondering what the hell is he talking about. But number one is support our veterans in your community. Wrap your arms around our veterans. Welcome them to the community. You guys are already doing that by being here today. But wrapping your arms around the Garcias and saying, hey, we're here. Welcome to the community, and we're going to be here when you need something. We know you'll be there for us when I need something. So that's the number 1 thing you can do for us, is welcome our veterans into your community. Number 2, tell people we exist. How many people had ever heard of Homes for Our Troops before you heard about this event? Yeah, not too many. And I'm glad ABC Supply had heard of us. And I'll make sure I tell the head shed that they're getting the word out. Good job. We work very hard to keep nearly 90 cents of every dollar that we spend going to the mission of buying land where the veteran wants to live, building a specially adapted custom home for that veteran and his or her family, and staying in contact with them to help them rebuild their lives. You can do the math. If 90 cents is going to that mission, that other 10% is covering the overhead, and a subset of that overhead is marketing. So we don't spend a lot of money on marketing. We have a public service announcement that you saw, but once we pay to make that, it airs for free. We don't know when, but it airs for free. Hopefully, if it's 2 a.m., there's some billionaire who's in insomniac sees it. But so we're not going to do paid advertising. We don't pay for spokespersons. So if you see a famous person talking about Homes for Our Troops, you know that he or she is all in, because we're not paying for them to do that. So we don't have a lot of famous people talking about us, because we're not going to pay to do it. So that means we grow our awareness by relying on you all, the American public, to spread the word. And we know that word of mouth is not the fastest way to grow your business, but we think it's the right way because we owe it to you if you donate to us, if you sign up for monthly giving, if you do a fundraiser for us, to be able to look you in the eye and say thank you for that money and know that 88, 89, 90, 91 cents of every dollar that you just donated to us is going to go to the mission of buying land, building a specially adapted home, and helping our veterans rebuild their lives. So we rely on you to get the word out, whether it's talking about us in your communities, at church, at school, at work, your relatives, your family. Social media is a good way to get the word out, posting about us, telling folks today when you post what you did, where you were, to send a picture or whatever. We're willing to grow slow because we want to grow right. We owe it to you, our supporters, to do that. And the third thing you can do, of course, you can donate or you can fundraise because we do run on money. But the number one thing you can ever do for us is welcome our veterans into your community. And the number two thing is let people know we exist. You don't need to give them a sales pitch. Just tell them about what we do, what you saw and heard here today, what you learned talking to our veterans that are here today, and send them to our website. They can make up their own minds by looking at what we have on the website. But you know, it's not about us. It's not about Homes for Our Troops. It's about the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coasties that have served and continue to serve. You know, the war is not on the front page anymore. And a lot of folks forget or don't even know that we've got 2,500 service members in Iraq and Syria right now, every day, going after bad guys. We got special operations forces all over the world, and if that missions go well, you'll never hear about where they were. So the fight still goes on, and we still got casualties to take care of. We estimate there's another 800 to 1,000 veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts that need a specially adapted home. So although we would like to work ourselves out of a job at building 30 to 40 homes a year, and we haven't hit that 40 mark yet, to me, that's pretty steady employment for a while. So we still have a lot of work to do. And so we need you to get the word out about what we're doing and what the need is. But again, it's not about us. It's about those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coasties. It's about Marines like Kyle Garcia. Now, I've known Kyle now since 2016 when he first came into the family. And you're doing the math going, what kind of an organization are you guys? 7 years ago and you haven't built his home yet? Which brings me to a great point about how we stay in contact with our veterans, and our real goal is to help them rebuild their lives. Kyle said we want to live in the Byron area. We said okay, and we started looking for land, and we bought a lot in 2017. And we're getting ready to find a builder and build it, and Kyle said, well, I'm wrapping up college here pretty quick, and I'm going to law school in Missouri. So I'm not going to be in California. And I said, well, it doesn't make sense to build a home that you're not going to be in, and you're going to be paying taxes on that home, and it's going to be empty, so that doesn't make any sense. So go to Missouri, get your law degree, let us know when you're coming back, and we'll get going on the process. Well, he got his degree in Missouri, but then he stayed on to work, and it's a good idea to get a little bit of work under your belt in where you just got your degree. So he didn't come back to California to 2022, and he gave us a heads up, said we're heading back. And that's when we went into starting the permitting. We would have had to re-permit the whole thing anyway. And as I'm sure any of you know, built in California, it's not easy to permit anywhere in the United States. California's got its own, I don't need to tell you all that. There is a county in Texas we build it. They don't permit. You just got to own the land. We try to encourage our guys to go there, but we don't tell them where to go. So one county out of 50 states isn't real helpful, but so we started the process again, but we didn't have to look for land. We had the land because we knew that's where we wanted to live. So it's actually gone relatively quickly from there, and Steve and the crew have already got it framed, and they're getting the roof on, and they're starting to put the rough-ins in. So I think I'm not going to tell you when I think we're going to have it done, because I learned a long time ago, construction business, you don't ever promise somebody when their home's going to be done, because the only thing you know for sure is that ain't going to be the date. So I've known Kyle for a while, and two words come to mind when I think of Kyle based on the relationship that we've developed over the years. It's determination and service. You know, he was determined to come into the military. And as you heard, he got advice about going in the Air Force, going in the Coast Guard, I think, which probably steeled your resolve not to go into the Coast Guard or the Air Force. So he went in the Marine Corps. And he went in to be a Marine infantryman because if you're going to be in the Marine Corps, you're going to be in the Army, you might as well be in the infantry. I personally believe that, but we'd be pretty in rough shape if we didn't have everybody else too. So try not to offend too many people here. I'm in the nonprofit work, but don't do very good at it. So I came in the Marines to be an infantryman and deployed to Iraq in 2007. And he was determined to be the best Marine he could be. And he was doing a good job. And he went back to Iraq in 2009. And when he came back from that deployment, he re-enlisted because he was determined to continue to be an outstanding Marine and continue to serve his country. He went to Afghanistan in 2011, and this time he went as a squad leader. So he added added responsibility to his determination, and that was to do his job and do his missions and to do his darndest to bring all of his Marines back. And that's a pretty heavy responsibility if you're a leader in combat, for those who've been out there knowing that, doing that. It is, as Alex said, I couldn't say it better, it's personal. But it was on that tour in Afghanistan, his third tour, that he stepped on an IED and lost his leg. And so that caused a couple of problems for him. One was the mobility issue, and the second was, what am I going to do now? Because there aren't a whole lot of one-legged infantrymen. It's just not a way you can go in the Marine Corps or the Army. So he reset his sights and refocused his determination to make a full recovery. And recovery is a lifelong thing when you're as badly injured as our veterans are. But he worked his rear end off to get up on hip prosthetic as soon as he could, get proficient in it, and to move forward. But then he still needed to figure out, because that desire to serve, what caused him to come into the Marine Corps in the first place, didn't go away because he got blown up and lost a leg. He just had to refocus service. And that's why he went into the law, because he said he wanted to learn the law and he wanted to help people. So he's got his law degree, he's passed the bar here in California, and he's looking to go to work again so he can assist people understanding the laws and do whatever it is they need to do and stay within the left and right boundaries of what the law prescribes. But the rock in his life has been Crystal. They met in middle school. I think didn't start dating until high school. Well, you really probably shouldn't start dating until high school anyway, but dated in high school, stayed in contact. They got married after his first tour in Iraq. And she's been there every step of the way in his Marine career and in his recovery. So when he was injured, she was notified. And when he got back to the States, she was there. And she has shouldered that burden along with Kyle in terms of taking every step, every day, moving forward. And truly has been the rock in his life and continues to be one. So I'm going to quit talking because you certainly did not come here to hear me speak. But Crystal, thanks for everything you've done and continue to do. Great words today. And Kyle, your turn to get up here. Folks, great American, Kyle Garcia.
Good morning, and thank you for coming here. You know, every day, every morning, I like to remind myself that, you know, a day above ground is a good day, you know, and everything after that is just going to be icing on the top. but it's days like today that, you know, I'm really, really grateful to be here. And, you know, I'm very lucky to be, you know, one of the over 20,000 service members who were wounded in Afghanistan. So I'm very lucky to be here and in this position. So in November of 2011, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps. I was with 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, deployed to Afghanistan in the Sangin Valley, this little town called Wishtan. And as a squad leader, my squad would do foot patrols in this town. And while on patrol one day, I inadvertently stepped on an improvised explosive device, and that amputated my left leg, and my right leg was severely wounded. It was luckily saved through a handful of surgeries as a limb salvage, and you know, I'm real grateful for that. However, as an amputee with severe blast-related injury on the other leg, I've had to learn how to adapt and cope with various things like, you know, persistent disabling pain, you know, the general loss of mobility and function of, you know, my leg, and, you know, the anxiety and the depression that often comes with such injuries. And I was really lucky to actually adapt and overcome all of that, and you know, be able to walk after a year and a half of therapy, and do well. However, there are still, you know, certain barriers that are pretty much just inherent in the infrastructure of everything that, you know, are probably benign to everybody, but for people with disabilities like mine, you know, you see things in a different way. Where I used to, you know, constantly look for improvised explosive devices where I step. Now it's curbs, stairwells, glossy surfaces. Those are the things that I'm afraid of slipping on and falling. But there are also other barriers too for people with disabilities like me. They're more barriers to your, you know, your dignity and your ability to live independently. And these are, you know, these are things that are, you know, like being able to take a shower without having to lay on the floor of you know, the shower because you don't have like a chair that's small enough to fit in your even smaller bathroom, or you know, things like having to crawl to wherever I left my leg, because, you know, being in a prosthetic leg for 16 hours a day isn't fun. And the wheelchair, it's great to have in the house, but it doesn't get in all the rooms. It just stays in the living room because you can't really navigate it all the way to where you need to go. Other barriers like being able to just reach the things that you need, wanting to be able to, you know, cook and do things on your own that you don't want to bother anyone else. You want to be independent. And so, you know, what I look forward to in the new home we're going to have, you know, it's not so much what the home has, but what it doesn't have, and that's stairs. It's going to be completely flat, and, you know, that's probably going to triple my life expectancy right there, just having no stairs. But I also look forward to, you know, having finally a bench in the shower and being able to take a normal shower without just laying on the floor in the tub, you know, and not taking, you know, forever again in just washing up. Things like that, having a wheelchair, be able to get to every single room, because nobody wants to be in a prosthetic leg 16 hours a day, I promise you. Although I am very grateful that I am able to get around in the prosthetic leg, eventually it needs a break. So And last but not least, I'm very, very grateful to be able to have this home here in the Bay Area, which is where my wife and I were born and raised, and where we met each other, and where we hope to live through, forever. So really excited about that. And of course, receiving this home without incurring the, financial burden of having to buy it myself or build it myself, which I honestly think in this day and age I probably wouldn't be able to do in one lifetime, unless the market, something happened, I don't know. And that feels like the weight of the world has been taken off my shoulders, as a father and, as a husband. I feel like, I can finally breathe again. But it's also an opportunity, for me to also take on more weight too, because I'm not the type of person that wants to just coast. I've never been like that, and pretty much all I want to do is pay it forward back to society threefold. And so what I hope to do is plan on using this opportunity to find really purposeful, meaningful work as a second career path, and some type of work that will enable me to help both people and better serve the community that I live in. And so I'm hoping having this home will allow me some flexibility in finding that type of second career, and doing good with my law degree, as opposed to settling for the first job that'll enable me to pay the mortgage. So that's one thing I'm truly grateful for. I also want to thank Homes for Our Troops, the Homes for Our Troops team, and pretty much I'm very grateful for everything they've done and for how much patience they've had with me and the family for holding on to this land for as long as they did, and kind of keeping tabs on me over the years, motivating me to go through everything, because I entered the Marine Corps when I was 17, and I didn't have a college education when I came out. And so everything, going from a Marine infantryman to getting a college education and going to law school. I mean, who would have thought crayon-eating infantryman could go so far, right, brother? My brother is also a Marine infantry. So thank you, Homes for Our Troops, for everything. So grateful. Thank you, Crystal, and my family. It's very important, the support that we receive when we're active duty from family, and it enables us to do that work, and it's probably the most stressful position to be in, because downrange I'm not thinking about anything but my Marines, but they're worried about me every day, and that's a hard position to be in. Also, thank you to everyone here, especially if you have served or if you have family that are active duty. It's your support that keeps them going, and it's critically important. Finally, I'd like to invite everyone here to check out Homes for Our Troops. Get involved, whether that's through donations or volunteering if you can, and keeping it moving forward for either the next build or keeping the support going for mine. I appreciate all of you coming here today and supporting me, and thank you so much.
so that concludes our ceremony today. Please stay. We are going to move into the next room and enjoy some lunch. And you guys will have the opportunity to meet Kyle and his family. Also, we have a table in there if you would like to sign up for Operation Lasting Support. Feel free to see Jeremy. He's right over there at the table. And besides that, have a wonderful day, and thank you guys so much for coming out today.